Hello everybody. I do apologize for being so late. I had a couple of things to do, so I do apologize. So today I wanted to talk about the Uranus retrograde. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a couple minutes before I do start, because I know I am really bad late, and again, I do apologize. So I'm going to give it a couple minutes and let some people pop on, and we'll go from there. And for those of you that do pop on, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. Just gonna give it a couple more minutes. Hi, Ronette. Again, I do apologize for not being on here earlier. Hi, Brittany. How are you guys? Can you hear me okay? Okay, so as you guys know, I am in charge of the Uranus retrograde. I did want to go ahead and hi Jody. I did want to go ahead and give you guys kind of like the meaning and going into the houses and how it might affect the houses. I'm doing good, and you, Brittany. Hi, Ellen. Hello everyone that's popping on. So I did want to give you guys like the meaning of retrograde and kind of like how it'll affect the houses one by one. If you haven't yet, Gina was absolutely amazing with explaining what a retrograde is. So if you haven't yet watched her video, I do highly recommend it. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on. So the first thing I wanted to go over was the retrograde for Uranus normally lasts around 5 to 6 months. It does last half the year, and it's normally from August 24th to about January 22nd. It is an outer planet, so as an outer planet, Uranus moves slowly, taking about 84 years to complete through the zodiacs. And it roughly spends about 7 years in each sign due to the slow motion of Uranus. And it's a generational planet along with Neptune and Pluto. Sorry. In astrology, Uranus is linked to quite a couple of surprises. It's normally associated with innovation, revolution, and liberation as the modern ruler of Aquarius. So, for any Aquariuses, it might be a bad time for you guys. Don't know yet. Uranus is actually very demonstrative on all its unique and wild and unpredictable, basically kind of like all the wild mischief in our lives. So, definitely be aware. So the Uranus retrograde meaning is, sometimes, however, Uranus appears to move backwards in the sky. This is a visual backwards motion, so if you guys have a telescope, I recommend looking at the sky in this Uranus retrograde, because it's actually really cool. So the stations for the retrograde once every year, spending just, again, half a year under this retrograde. These retrogrades, again, normally last around 5 months, and during these transits, Uranus appears to move backwards in the sky, recovering approximately 4 degrees for each house. Overall, Uranus spends about 41% of its time in the retrograde. And with Uranus, I don't mean to sound too harsh with this one. I am so sorry, guys. Can you stop? Sorry, guys. I am actually visiting family right now, and they are giving me such a hard time. Sorry, guys. So I don't mean to sound too harsh with this, but with your Uranus transitions, we are actually given a choice. It's either change or you don't change and you kind of die within yourself in a way. So basically with Uranus, to me, it's one of the more brutal retrogrades in my opinion, only because it threatens us with not physical death, but a creative and soul withering type of death. So, you know, normally if we don't try to change or anything like that in an ability to thrive, then that's what kind of kills us in a way. And it's mainly because, you know, we get so caught up in doing our everyday things that we forget to change it up just a little bit. And basically that's what Uranus retrograde is kind of going to do. It's going to push you out of that comfort zone, and it's going to push you to thrive. It's going to kind of push all of those boundaries away. That way you can thrive. And it could be, you know, a creativity thrive. It could be a spiritual path thrive. You name it. As long as it serves you, it's going to go. Again, Uranus does push us past the edge of comfort and further still. It is these boundaries somewhere between the order and the abject chaos where genius and creativity thrive. The effects of this Uranus retrograde, again, Uranus kind of shows up in our lives kind of like a lightning that kind of burns you down, especially if you're not ready for it. Uranus is also a awakener, and it's forcing us to face those things which we may, you know, intuitively know already, but we struggle to comfort. These wake-up calls, which are often brutally timed, may force us to let go of parts of our ego, identities which are in danger of suffocating the entire system. So, I am so sorry, guys, for the background noise. So, basically, how I interpret the Uranus retrograde is, if you know that you need to get through something and that you've been kind of putting it off, kind of like your shadow work or a certain spell that you might want to do, Uranus retrograde will kind of like smack you in the face and be like, hey, you need to do it. Me and Uranus will never, ever see eye to eye on anything. I hate Uranus retrogrades. But, does anyone have any questions so far before I do continue? I know I'm going kind of fast and I do apologize. If you guys don't have any questions, I can go ahead and move on. So the Uranus retrograde in the natal charts. Again, Uranus normally tends to stay 7 years in each house, and it's normally 41%. So, sorry, Ellen, your question just popped up. So it has not started yet, and it normally won't start until August 24th, and it normally won't end until January 22nd. So it's normally about 5 to 6.5 months that it's in the retrograde. So no, it has not started yet. I know Pluto starts this Friday, but that's about it. So I hope that answered your question, love. So for the retrograde, in the natal chart, again, it does spend 41% of the year, and it is relatively normal to have the Uranus retrograde in your natal chart. Yes, Ronnie, it is normally every year, if I'm not mistaken. But for the Uranus cycle, it's normally 84 years to come to complete cycle for Uranus. But again, it is every year around 6, like half the year, if I'm not mistaken. So I hope that answered your question, love. Retrograde planets in the birth chart are sometimes described as being unable to fully express themselves or having an oddball way. About ways of manifesting their influence, just common is the idea that the retrograde planets in the natal chart only begin to emerge successfully later in life after much introspection and adjustments. In traditional astrology, however, the retrograde planets are not seen merely misguiding, but being thoroughly weakened. The speed and visibility are both important considerations to ancient astrologers. On both accounts, retrograde planets are at a disadvantage because they move slower than the fast-moving planets. Fast-moving planets were interpreted as being active and able to bring about their significations, while slow-moving planets, like the retrogrades, were deemed too sluggish to do their job properly. So some of the some of the slow planets would be Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So those are some of the slower moving planets. In general, Uranus retrograde in the natal chart is considered less impactful than a retrograde. Personal planets such as Mercury or Venus, the effects of the natal Uranus retrograde gain more potency if Uranus forms strong aspects to other planets or points, particularly the Sun, Moon, and your ascendant sign. Uranus's responsibility in the birth chart is to awaken us to real freedom, pushing us out of complacency through subsequent breakdowns and breakthroughs. Whenever Uranus is found in the birth chart, is an area of life which we may feel inordinary confined, even if we are not. Throughout life, we may hatch an escape plan attempting to free ourselves from shackles of our responsibilities. So when Uranus is basically whether it's direct or retrograde, it usually indicates that the holder of the chart must find a way to grapple with the willy energy of Uranus. Mainly because Uranus kind of has a funky energy to it, and I think that's why we don't get along. But mainly, it's kind of basically a meaningless rebellion energy is kind of what I get from it. But for some people, it might actually help. Guys, I can't speak today, and I deeply apologize. When poorly expressed, the Uranus influences can erupt as erratic outbursts of brilliance. Yeah, I think that's it. I am so sorry, guys. Which fail to find proper expression in the material reality. Those with Uranus retrograde in the natal chart may need to expend considerable energy coming to terms with their need for an individuality and freedom. So, does anyone have any questions before I go into how it might affect the houses? By any chance? That's okay, Jody. Please be safe, love. Okay, so I'm going to continue because I don't see any questions yet. So if they pop up, I will answer them as they come in, loves. So the effects on Aries for the Uranus retrograde, I kind of feel bad for you guys. It's a financial situation. You may need to rethink the way that you work with your money, maybe limiting your spending or put money aside more regularly. Or maybe you guys have some type of, projects that you guys have been putting off for a while. Maybe it might be a great time for you guys to adapt and modify it. And that's kind of basically what I got for Aries. For Taurus, who loves you follows you, and if not, too bad. I hate to say it like that, but ladies, let them go. If they're not supposed to be there, let them go. You are more independent and less flexible. Your obstinacy is reinforced in all domains. So again, ladies, if they're not supposed to be there, just let them go. For Gemini, you might have more difficulty adapting to others, and you may want to bite your tongue in order to save people's feelings. So us Gemini, myself included, can definitely be very, very mean during these retrogrades. Especially if it's a Uranus retrograde. Like, I have always felt so off in these retrogrades, and I feel horrible after because I've lost so many people because I'll just let the truth spill out, honestly, about how I feel. And it's costed me a lot of friends. So yeah, I can attest to this one. I will definitely need to bite my tongue during that retrograde. For Cancer, this is a good time to review your projects that are more important to you in order to bring them into fruition. Don't hesitate to ask allies for advice. Basically, for Cancers, I would definitely surround yourself with more friends, because the more friends... I know, Ellen, but I promise you, I can be really mean. Cancers, you guys might want to kind of just express yourselves more to your friends, and if you have any issues, a lot of people will help you. But you gotta open up too. That's how I feel about that one. For Leos, you show who you are. You have more difficulty accepting constraints at work. Furthermore, I'm sorry, guys. You do as you please, even if you don't like it. In any case, you are tired of putting on a good face. So, yeah, this retrograde, I promise you guys, is gonna show everyone's true colors. For Virgo, you guys should take it easy. You may find it difficult to accept opinions, habits, manners different from yours, which sometimes make you too critical or even nervous. For Libra, it's the taste of provocation. You guys may forget to do your well-to-do side. In order to show yourself as a little more proactive, you disturb, but it is not to displease either. So basically, you guys might be tired of showing other people false feelings, and maybe you guys need to step out too. Especially during this retrograde, because if not, Uranus is going to come back and bite you, and it's going to bite hard. Scorpio, you can't stand the constraints linked to relationships, associates, or contracts, and you might be tempted to free yourself from a commitment. So definitely during this retrograde, you might want to go ahead and, if you know that a relationship isn't quite working out, you guys might want to let it go. For Sagittarius, take a breath, guys. You guys give yourself too much you judge yourselves too harshly, guys. Be aware of tension surges. You tend to build up out of politeness, but your impatience is growing. Take a deep breath. Capricorn, you guys, this might not affect you as bad, mainly because Uranus is also going to be mainly in the Capricorn. Mainly, you guys are going to be in the Capricorn area during this retrograde. Again, like I said, because it takes around 7 years for Uranus to pass into each house. So your guys' independence... For which one, Ronnie? Are you talking about for Scorpio or Sagittarius, love? So for Sagittarius, basically what it's saying is you might want to take a step back. It could be whether it's in a relationship or you guys just need a break. So definitely take a step back and, you know, just try to focus on you during this retrograde. Because again, you guys have a lot on your guys' plates. So, I would definitely just take it back and focus on you. So for Capricorn, you guys are set. And I'm so jelly because I'm a Gemini. But your independence of spirit is more and more marked. If an effective link weighs you down, it is the moment to free yourself from it to bring new proposals for conciliation. So basically, you guys don't really have to worry about much because you guys are gonna let it go anyway. And if you haven't noticed, it's a pattern of just letting go. Especially in this retrograde. For Aquarius, for Aquarius, this might be the time to make necessary changes for a better family organization, especially since your individualistic side needs to breathe more. So again, if you're like Sagittarius, guys, put yourself first. Definitely focus on you. That way you guys can know exactly kind of what the problem is and you can fix it before Uranus fixes it for you. For Pisces, which is my last, don't be so stubborn if trips or travels fall through. You can always accept to modify your initial project because you will get more satisfaction from it if you start planning ahead. That's pretty much all I have for the Uranus retrograde. Exactly, LNC. So again, guys, mainly during this retrograde, especially for a lot of the signs that it's going to affect negatively, not Capricorn, definitely just try to be cautious about it, but definitely work on yourselves too. Like I said, me and Uranus will never see eye to eye with its energy. But with this retrograde, I definitely hope, you know, to basically, what's the word? Basically, work on myself. You know, work on kind of, you know, the harsh reality of a lot of things. I'm telling you, Ellen, that Pluto retrograde is gonna come and bite everyone in the behind come Friday. But that's all I have for the Uranus retrograde. If you guys have any questions, you can feel free to comment. And for those of you that did not join me, I hope to see your lovely replays. But other than that, I love you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful night